Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome back to FM21 Zero to Hero. It's episode number 20. So, in this one, a few things are going on. First off, it's the opener to the season. Season just getting underway. So far, the team is fully intact and looking really good on the road at Village Hamlet. Team is growing, progressing, seeing a lot of positive signs. The one worrying sign, as Barbados goes close but straight at the keeper, is that we already have $60,000 plus offers a month from the deadline for Aaron Bridges. There's a good chance we're going to lose Aaron Bridges this season. Currently, nobody else is experiencing, as Bridges gets the clearance on that one. Nice little overhead volley as got a teammate blocking off a teammate. It looked like Barbados getting blocked off by one of the midfielders. Williams, nice away, but he doesn't get to Bridges. Bridges looks like he wins the ball, but he trips the man. The commentary at the bottom, the text commentary, clearly says that it was a dive, and Stratful goes wide. This is Aspinall. Looked like he tried to keep his feet, but he guessed wrong, and then he tried to pull back, but his momentum was carrying away. Barretto already had a yellow card just 20 minutes in. Here's Tunnicliffe. Finds Fiscalis. No, he can't get that. Here's Holmes for Barbados. So Barbados has moved to right wing. Jameson is out of the line. That looked offside. Fenton. No, corner kick. Nicely timed. Fenton into the starting lineup instead of Jameson, and that put Barbados to the opposite wing. There's Fiscalis recovery. Does not recover that ball. I thought he had it in. Shots are 7-1 at this point. Possession nearly 70%. The team, as it stands right now, looks fairly good. Here's the thing. So we've always hovered around that just over 100 with a core of 3 to 4 players. That was a beautiful attempt there. Unfortunately, we were posting a couple of this already. Locked in near post. We didn't have far to go to dive. Had a lot of power. Very accurate. Certainly could have found a little more space at far post. Fenton pushes that one line. Fenton has some work to do. He has some work to do. So Jameson was a better attacking player than Fenton. Jameson, for one thing, has some real attitude issues. For another, as Fenton goes off to the races here, goes coast to coast himself and puts it into the sea. Well, anyway, Jameson is a decent attacking player, but he's got terrible physicals, and he is got zero defensive awareness. And this is a gegenpress. It would be nice to have somebody who actually contributes to recovering the ball. On paper, Fenton is already better, as is the other guys we brought up. There we go. Okay, they're inspired. This second half on the way. But Fenton isn't as good of an attacker as Jameson is right now. He's just significantly better in the physicals and the strength departments. Enough so that he is definitely seen as the better player of the two, even without the attacking part. Defensively, he's not great either, but he is much, much better than Jameson is. Also, Jameson, with the attitude issues and the demands, he is so much better. Good score some goals though, so we'll give Fenton a chance here. The last part of that is that Jameson is nearly maxed out as Fiscalis on Fenton gets our under of the season early second half here on the road. National League on a high enough level for the first time. Leave aside numbers to at least this group of players. This is the first one as I see it. Again, Fenton. Oh, what a shot. Beautiful free kick. This is the advantage of starting to play higher and higher levels. You're starting to see some wonderful wonderful play from players occasionally here and there. Don't squat in this game. One free kick. 7 hits there on a piece. And there's Barbados over the top. Chance there. On that one. He was upset with himself after missing that opportunity. Nice header from Fenton. Holmes, Elliott with cross. Finds Bridges in space. Bangs it off the inside of the bar. That was very much 90% on the inside of the bar. I don't know how that came back out the way it did. It must have had some serious English to it to get that thing spinning and coming back out instead of going across goal and back in. That was our worst defensive highlight of the game as we're going pretty late on. We'll stay on attacking. Barreto on a yellow and struggling a little bit. Let's go ahead and bring in Ando. Fielskalis, free kick. Can't do much with it. You're starting to see that we are lacking a few for the league this season. As Fenton loses that one again, we need some work on that attack. Maybe it's time to advance that shot as we do need a goal here late. Go ahead and pause. It's awfully late. Let's bring in. Oh, he's not even on the bench. That's right, he's not on the bench. Liam Campbell is, and Campbell is such a similar player. 15 on the passing, though. Let's give him a shot to Fenton. So we're going to sub out Fenton, and Barbados will switch. Fortunately, he is quite fluid and can switch back and forth between the wings without issue. Here we go. Holmes in possession. His ball over the top does not find the target. But it's headed out for a throw. Late in time. Elliott, long ball ahead. Again, finds nobody. Seems like they're playing desperate, even though we've tried to keep it consistent. Ooh, poor defending from Elliott there. It's going to create a real chance. Unfortunately, it's going to be over. Season with a draw where we absolutely dominate the game. It looks like we might. Let's go very attacking for these last couple of minutes, but it normally goes bad before when we do that. As Williams heads that one away. For a second, I thought he was going to miss that header. The way he moved his body towards it. There's Bridges with that one. Nice ball. Campbell on the run. Nice ball ahead to Fielskalis. His passing. Second chance, and there is the game winner with just 1 minute to play. It pays off a little bit defensive. Let's go ahead and waste time massively in this last minute here. Holy cow. Bridges really sets that one up with a beautiful header, and Campbell pounces on it. Finds some space between two defenders. Fielskalis, our second time to hit the post, but Fielskalis puts it in the back of the net. As this game wraps up, and we hopefully claim all 3 points in the final moments. Quite a few yellow cards, but we do come through this one on top, so it seems. I have new hardware for recording. I have new software for the recording. This is my actual first official recording. I've done some test runs, but this is my first official recording. So do let me know how the video is doing, how the audio is, whether the game audio needs to come up or down, whether my audio needs to come up or down. If something's off about it, let me know in the comments below. Season barely starts off in the right direction. We absolutely deserved the 3 points, but they came awfully late. So I started to get into this during the match. We had our core 4 or 5 players that excelled, and then there was always a huge drop-off from there. Slowly, we brought up the rest of the first 11 to be decent. But then as we would lose 1 or 2 players, the 1 or 2 really well-developing first-team guys would kind of step up and just replace them. Well, we still have primarily a core. We have only 5 players over 100. But here's the significant difference. There's 4 players at 96 or above. There's another one at 92. So we almost have a whole first team. There's 10 there, though 9 are starters with Odell in the mix there. But 10 players, 90 plus now. Ando into the almost mid-80s. Kane Robinson, 79. Lee Williams now, 79. That's one of our last starters, almost on the verge of hitting an 80. So the progression of getting further and further down the list of players that are becoming quite capable. We've had players of this ability almost since season 1, or about season 1. The intake happened late, so it would have been season 2. By mid-season 2, we started to have a few players of near this ability. We haven't really grown much beyond that, but what we have grown in is it's gone from a few players to pretty much a first 11. And then, of course, the other big improvement is the backups. The backups were 40s and 50s. Now, the minimum for the first time is a 60, and that's Kyle Jamieson, who is unhappy and a total jerk. He's not training well. He is decreasing. He's not improving. He's near his potential anyway, so he doesn't really have a lot of room to grow. And it's showing. He is offensive, but he is nothing more. Kind of getting into that here. You could see how he has 0 defense, very low physical, and only a little bit in the speed department. He does have some pace at 12, but otherwise his physical attributes are very, very lacking. He's got some leadership. He's pretty good off the ball, which is why he has performed thus far, and he can pass okay. But outside of a few specific strengths, he's lacking in so many other ways and has pretty much hit that potential. So, we're looking at somebody who's a 1.5 star kind of guy with no growth. And that's why, even though his technical and attacking and vision slightly are above that of his counterparts, that of Fenton. Fenton's only a 70, but that's still already better. Campbell is a 71. Both of them with a bigger ceiling, though not great. That's definitely one position. We're still kind of one winger short of where we need to be. We're starting to fill out a few other areas. Gold comes up. Still has a lot of progress to make, but he'll get there. A few of these guys are kind of nearing their ceiling, and it's going to be possibly the last of those mediocre players that see first team action, and that's a wonderful thing. But as we kind of claw up the middle group and bring them higher and higher up to where our upper group is, the more competitive we're going to be, the more balanced we're going to be, the more it's not going to come down to 1 or 2 players that if the other team has somebody who can handle them, who can mark them, we're going to struggle. And we've seen that the last 2 seasons. We have struggled a bit. So to see some continued growth and to make some sort of progress, I mean, Barbados has hit 100. We're seeing that progress. Simpson's on the verge. So while we see that progress, I'm looking for it to come kind of more through this area and see a whole team of 80 plus in the first team, and that's going to help us in the long term. Short term, if we only lose Bridges, then we'll be good. I'm guessing we're going to lose Bridges based on the offers. But what am I going to do? Defense is a bit of a weakness. Elliott is, he's grown a lot, actually. He's now a 92. He's coming along pretty rapidly. He was, 60s when he took over the starting job just under 2 seasons ago, after somebody was bought and sold. Marvin Grundy looks like the backup, right? The high potential, and so there you go, coming in at right about a 70. Not quite as bad as Elliott when he first started, but not far from it. So I think Grundy is going to end up taking over here quite soon. That's a little worrying to have to dip that low. But again, it's one player, one position. I think we can survive that. I don't know if we're going to win the league, but we'll get somewhere. We'll have some sort of progress. The more worrying part is if we lose 2 or 3 guys, we're going to be completely screwed. We've reached the end of August, and we actually lead the league with 6 wins and a draw. The draw coming in just our most recent match a day ago. Plus 15 overall. We've gotten off to a really good start. Geisley has also gotten off to a pretty good start, though, with 6 wins and just 1 loss on the season so far. Goal differential definitely favoring us, but the moment of truth is coming. We are now one complete day away from transfer deadline. So we've got just under 48. We have 47 hours left until the transfer deadline. Offers are starting to come in, and not just for Bridges, and that's that worrying part. For one thing, Bridges, we've already gotten a $170,000 offer. 170, so that's a lot. Holmes is another one. Aspinall, those are the 2 that I worry about besides Bridges. So we'll see how this goes as we move forward. We're nearly through the day prior, and then we'll get into what's going on that next day. So now one day to go until the transfer deadline. So far, the board has held out, has not given in, has not taken any players away from us, hurting our chances of succeeding in the league this season. Into the day itself, already 9 a.m. So how are we looking? Holmes already pushing 40,000. So is Aspinall. There's a 115 for Bridges. That's the 3rd offer we've had. That was actually a 130. There's another 130. That's a 53. 64 for Aspinall now. Holmes still just 20,000 on that, so we're looking pretty good there. For us, it's not transfer deadline day, so this is just for the higher divisions. Aspinall now pushing almost 70,000. For some offers, a lot coming in below that mark, but the Bridges is the worrying one. That one's not bad. Just 12 hours to go. So far the board has resisted. No discussion, not today. Sorry, Aspinall. That's going to make him unsettled, but we'll have to deal with it. 88,000 now for Aspinall. 96,000, so he's about to hit 100. There's 160,000 still rejected. That's a good sign. That's a really good sign that we're turning down offers that high compared to some that they had accepted in past seasons. Maybe because we're in a higher division now, the board expects more. That's 130,000 for Aspinall. There's another 160 for Bridges. It's only 1:15 in the afternoon. For a screen. No, that's his first in quite a while. Oh my goodness. Fleetwood was the one that already had 2 offers. 150 and then 170, now 240. So Fleetwood's the one we really got to watch out for. But is that their last offer? $250,000, and the board has said no. That is the biggest offer I've seen them say no to in how many seasons? Is this season 7 now? $125 for Aspinall. $150 for Aspinall. Bridges again over 200. That's $230. It's Cardiff getting in on the action. 175 for Aspinall. That's worrying. But I do have... I'm actually okay if Aspinall is the one to leave because we have two excellent backups. One of them already a 100. Our U18s guy has outdeveloped Odell and already passed him. And somebody signed him for $7,000, even though he was already signed to a long-term contract. I brought him back, though. I don't know. That happened over the last couple weeks. 200,000 for Aspinall. Okay, so now both of them are worryingly high. 190, that's Ipswich Town. Middlesbrough, 185 for Aspinall. 180. 175. 195 for Bridges. Okay, it looks like it's now the Aspinall and Bridges show in the offers. Still only 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's well before the deadline, and these offers could get significantly larger. I have a feeling both of them are going to be gone. 325. That's Fleetwood again. Fleetwood really want to get Bridges signed. Now, Aspinall and Bridges are on paper our two highest current ability players, so that's worrying. Bridges is not our biggest contributor. And I think Aspinall is definitely replaceable. There you go. Keep him on our side. All right, 3:30. Deadline's 11 p.m. $205, $245 now, $275. 300,000. We have done it. We have survived a $300,000 bid. 325. Gosh, it's only 2 hours later. $375 and the board still holds out, which is beautiful. They've never held out this long. Okay. Told you I saw this coming. 425. So it looks like 400,000 is about the mark now. That's Southampton coming in for the 19-year-old Bradley Aspinall. I don't think we're going to be able to say no on that one. If I'm going to try to protest, I would rather try to protest with Bridges, as that's a huge drop-off. They're rejecting 425. But they accepted 425. And that was straight up 425. That's a little... It's strange to me how the board does that. They accept an offer that is significantly less. It's only 170,000. Might eventually rise to 425. We're getting straight offers of 425,000 on the spot immediately right now. Multiple teams coming in, and we turn those down. Okay. Looks like Aspinall's leaving though. Already, just like that. Aspinall has agreed to terms in just a matter of minutes. It's only 6:30. Okay, Tuesday morning. Phil Skelnis, player of the month. Fenton ended up second. He ended up with 4 goals and 6 assists. Are you kidding me? What a great start to his career. They win the player of the month and the youth player of the month. All right, well, that does hurt us a little bit. We lose our goalkeeper, but here is the exciting news. Martin McCallum is the guy I was talking about. A 149 is now going to take over as goalkeeper, except for he's on international duty right at this moment, and that puts Odell right back in the position he was in. Very disappointed to not be playing, but he's a little bit below McCallum. McCallum has high reflexes, 15 already, and really good handling. So not bad at all. Actually quite good. So that was a kind of a pleasant surprise. We did lose one player to a very large bid, the biggest we've ever had, but it wasn't Bridges. He's still here. They stopped bringing the offers in, and they got so close. I mean, what was that, 375 that he got to? Nearly the same offer on what we ended up taking for Aspinall. But we don't lose Bridges. Barreto actually is the best on paper now, 110. Bridges right behind him at 109. So very, very close. But we survived that. That was definitely a scare, but it was good. And, we're okay because we still have a 100 goalkeeper. Not quite as good, but definitely good. Less of a drop-off than we would have had if Bridges is gone, so I can work with that. I'm going to make one more push. Only a few weeks. Let's go ahead and go a few weeks, and then we'll do that quick update, and that's going to be our opener for this season. We continue on with our strong start to the season. Just one draw through 11 matches, 10 wins, plus 27, 31 points. We're up 7 points over Geisley now, who still sit in second, but have picked up a couple more losses. One interesting piece of news is at the bottom of the standings is Dulwich Hamlet, the team we beat in the season opener in the final moments. Just about a week ago, one of our coaches, Greg Wilkinson, just became their new head coach. So I do have a coach to replace. It's a good sign for him that he was able to get that. For a couple seasons now, he's actually wanted to leave the team. His ambition has been showing that he was looking for something, so it doesn't surprise me that he finally did find something. I'm glad for him that it's at this level, and I'll get a chance to manage against him later in this season if we don't bypass that one, which is likely the case. But anyway, really happy with our early form this season. We'll see how that carries us later on, but we'll see. McCallum already showing a little bit of progress. Now a 102. Tunnicliffe right on the verge of hitting that 100. Fjolskelnis almost. He's been in the low 90s for ages, but that long injury bumped him down to mid 80s, and he's slowly rebounded. Not super high potential, and that's why the offers aren't quite as good. He's been amazing every season. And that is why there's interest out there. But in reality, he's nowhere near our best player and probably should be that other winger besides Barbados. That's the solution. But the answer we don't have yet is who takes over as striker. Well, Kane Robinson, his finishing's in 8. If he could improve that, though, and we are seeing some improvement here. He's got some speed. He's definitely determined, meaning he's going to keep progressing primarily. Makes good decisions. He's fairly good off the ball. No, just an 8 off the ball. But visions there, tackling and marking are quite good for the position. Heading could really help. If we could just bring that finishing up to about a 10, we'll maybe give it a shot and put Robinson on top and see how that goes. Fenton, meanwhile, though, yeah, he's progressing. He's a 79 now. One final compliment to the team and how well they're doing right now. Right, 1 draw through 11 matches, all wins otherwise. One additional compliment is that we've actually had about 6 injuries to first-team players, mostly starters, already this season. Most of those have been 1 to 2 week variety, so the guys were out, missed 1 or 2 matches, and were back. Bridges has been out for about 3 weeks now, 2 weeks now, and is getting ready to come back, and I think that's why he's regressed a little bit, because he was a 109. But that's a good sign for us. That's a good sign that we've been able to have a little bit of adversity so far this season. We lost Aspinall. We've had a number of injuries around the first team, and yet they're still playing really well and progressing. And again, outside of Jameson, this group is doing quite good. Grundy's already hit that 70. Gold is on the verge of hitting that 70. I'm going to be very, very excited when, before the end of this season, the minimum to be on the first team is going to be a 70 plus, which means Jameson's going to be gone down at the U23s and maybe even parting ways because he's making a lot. So is George White, by the way. George White was the other one that we replaced with Barbados. And gosh, where is he even at on here? Oh, there he, wow, a 50 of 56. He was like Jameson. He was quite good. He was quite effective. He was quite attacking. But overall, for him, it's mostly just pace. He's got a nice pace advantage. A 10 on free kicks. I mean, that's his highest skill. That's not useful for us. Flair, leadership, work rate. That's not necessarily useful. And yet he was effective those first couple seasons. But I think that was more about the level we were at than anything. He would get tore up now. But you can see just how far down he is, as you know, he's a guy that we relied heavily on, and he's now at the end of the bench for the U23s. Our top guys, of course, are first teamers up through gold. Andy Anderson is the next closest, is a striker, but he's at his potential. And that's the problem with all of these guys. None of them have room for growth outside of those three that are growing. Down in the U18s, there's definitely still potential there. And Lee Prosser, holy cow, he is leveling up quick. He was a low mid 55 just a couple months ago. So he is developing rapidly and has high potential. He's going to be on the first team quite soon. But we'll get him in that 75, 80 range before we call him up, just so that he could actually get some proper development in before we bring him up, because he's going to go straight to the bench. And how is he going to develop then? Harrison's doing quite well despite not having a lot of potential. Stuart Carter's the other one I'd watch out for, because he's got a 102 potential. Center back, that could be handy for us as he develops, as we're very thin there. And then we're down to Schumacher and Pino. Pino would be the other one to watch out for, but as a center mid and nothing else, he's going to have to develop a lot to be ready to contribute. It looks like we're hanging on to players a lot better now that I've gone through and really focused on signing long-term deals early to the decent youth players. And so a lot of the less decent players who aren't on special deals, they're actually getting ignored. So we're at a high enough level now where the contract situation is handled, dealt with, and we're able to, just allow players to walk that aren't good, and teams aren't so interested in that anymore. They're not looking to poke and prod our roster and take those players away from us. So we are hanging on to them a lot better, which means this next youth intake, we're going to have an abundance of players finally, and not just a few that we say no to. We're going to be able to say no to quite a few. And at the same time, we're going to be able to say goodbye to quite a few existing players. A Jordan Morris, a Nikolai Gale, right? These low potential and low ability players, goodbye. Barrington, goodbye. And we'll be able to get in a new breed where probably at a minimum potential is going to be 70 plus on the entire roster. And then ability, of course, is going to be 70 plus at the top level. A lot of these guys are never going to see first team actions. Why would we bother hanging on to him? Well, mostly just to have a complete roster. And that roster is just going to inch its way to better and better and better. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.